sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Football Frenzy. Last week, we decided to take a week off because of the Thanksgiving break. But with that being said, there's a lot of football. We have a lot of football that we have to cover tonight. So, Dell, how are things going on your end?
Pretty good, Packers getting a win, so that's always exciting.
Yeah, it's been a pretty exciting week so far for me. I mean, look at my Rangers. We've pulled up. We ended up getting 2 elite shortstops in 2 days. But again, they're the same position. But anyway, that's the only thing that I'm really kind of curious about. I mean, my Nuggets pulled off a win today. Broncos pulled off a win yesterday. We'll talk a little bit more about that game when that got started. But first thing first, I want to go backwards here. And, Washington, Seattle, the game hasn't started yet. I mean, game hasn't ended yet, excuse me. Washington currently has the lead 17-9. Do you now, before the show started, you said Seattle, you think Seattle's going to win this. I mean, they still have time left on the clock, but do you think that that's going to be the case now?
No. I think Washington, they got a good team right now. At least the team playing. Their next game, that could be a different story. But I think they had to win against Seattle. They know Seattle's a tough team with Russell,
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a must win. I mean, they're 4-6. I mean, they still got a small percentage chance of making playoffs, but it's not out of the woods yet.
So if Washington wins this game, they automatically jump into the 7th seed. They jump all the way from being fourth to last, all the way up to the 7th seed.
Yeah, so it's a must win against Seattle.
Yes, it really shows you how tough that this conference is. As Washington just scored another touchdown, but that is being reviewed.
Yes.
So now the score's 23-9. With a little over 2 minutes left to go on the quarter, but going backwards again.
So Nate, do you think this is a time where you take Russell out and you just rest him because you don't want to injure? I mean, you kind of got an L in the book. Do you take out your starting quarterback and kind of rest him, or do you keep him in there and just?
I think if the situation was reversed, that Washington had the 3. Actually, to answer your question, yes. I was looking at it wrong. Because Seattle, I don't see there's any way chance coming back, after this. Even though the game's not over, just call it over at this point. For Seattle.
Yeah.
But for the remaining of the season, I would probably wait 1 or 2 more games.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant, though, just this game. Because, I mean, Washington's gotten to Russell already tonight. I think if he keeps getting bumped up a few times, one of them could cost them. I think you put in your backup and hopefully, who knows? He might do better than Russell.
I don't say that will be better than Russell. I just think that, I just maybe you run into the risk of, once the point where you say, hey, this season's over for the team, they're the season's done. I would probably bench the quarterback then and put in your backup, not so that they would have a higher chance of getting a higher draft pick.
Yeah, and that's just to get the quarterback reps with the guys, right? To make, because let's say Russell tears an ACL, right? Well, the backup quarterback had no time with the guys other than preseason, which is 4 weeks. Well, a little over 4 weeks,
And he did actually start for them when Bruss was hurt, because he was in there for 4 weeks then.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think Russell's definitely lost his groove. I don't think he's the big hype of Seattle anymore, or the West, I should say.
I don't think that this team is. I don't think that Bruss is the problem in Seattle. I think it's more of what's around Bruss. I mean, he does have very solid weapons, but no offensive line, period, whatsoever.
And that's what you need to keep you standing up.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're just gonna go down like a sack of potatoes.
And I say the weapons are not the problem, but they kind of are. And I mean that because Seattle has very, 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 very good 2 solid number 2 wide receivers. But notice I say number 2. Like, they don't have a good number 1. I think they would do both those guys, and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett would be a good number 2 on any team you put them on. But when getting the most reps, no. I rather had guys like Devontae Adams or DK or Stephon Diggs, any guys like that.
Yeah, but I don't think Devontae would match up well in Seattle with Russell. Mm-hmm. I think Devontae, he's a Green Bay for life.
To be honest, after the season's over, I would just blow it all up for Seattle. I mean, I live in the area. I would just blow it all up.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, weirder things have happened, but I don't see it happening with the rotation they have now. They need to go get some guys in the offseason, get them grouped up, work with Russell, and then reconsider it next season and regroup.
I think part of their problem last year, they had 3 draft picks. Out of the whole draft, they only had 3 picks. And that's because they traded all their picks away to get, guys and things like that, which was fine and dandy then, but it hurts them in the long run. This is why, hey, even though the Rams have, guys like Odell or guys like Matthew Stafford, I think we're really starting to show that, hey, the draft, they haven't been able to get, guys in the draft that they need, because they haven't had that very many draft picks. And Seattle didn't rush at all this game. I 100% agree with you. 34 yards, that's not enough. They need running backs.
Yeah, they were not Forrest Gump tonight. They were definitely not running.
So let's go ahead and backtrack a little bit as the touchdown has been taken off. So it's now 17-9 instead of the 23-9. But backtrack a little bit. Oh my gosh, that game was so. The Browns and the Ravens was not great. It was a great defensive battle, but Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback since Andy Dalton did it in either 2012 or 2013. I can't remember the exact year. But Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback since 2012 or 2013 to throw for 4 interceptions and still win.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, when you think stats wise, you're thinking that team's gonna lose, but they win. They do the opposite of what everyone thought they were gonna do.
As time goes on, I'm starting to realize, hey, maybe Lamar Jackson entered into the NFL draft as the wrong position.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far.
He has been able to take this team to playoffs, sure. Been a great red zone touchdown quarterback, but hasn't. The year that he won the MVP, yes, he had the most passing touchdowns, but he was 22nd in passing yards. It's because he's been running to gain a lot of yards, but then throwing the touchdowns at the red zone. And even after that, he just hasn't been the same compared to his MVP season.
Well, no. I mean, as really as anybody is. Are they good as their MVP season or their prime time?
I mean, Peyton Manning had 5 of those MVPs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Lamar's a good guy. I think he's a good quarterback.
I put him top 10, but I'm sorry, not anymore for top 5.
Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't say he's like top 5. No, he's an average quarterback.
And I wouldn't blame this game on Baker at all, because Baker. You mean to tell me the only blame that I would put on Baker is that he actually played this game with the number of injuries that he's had? You had a knee injury and a calf injury on the same leg, and then you had one other injury. I just couldn't remember where it was, and he still ends up playing. Why? I think if you put in Case Keenum in that game, they still would have won. But
no,
only blame I am putting on Baker Mayfield is that he actually played because of his injuries.
So you're thinking if there was a healthy Baker, they would have won versus the injured Baker?
Yes. Lamar Jackson, I don't care if the game was 17-16 and he only threw one additional touchdown. I'm sorry. Who has been able to... There has not been very many. Andy Dalton is the only other quarterback that I've known to throw 4 interceptions in a game and win the football game.
The Browns are trash. We all know it. You go to Cleveland to retire your career. You don't go there to build your career.
Oh, stop it with that Cam Newton stuff. I'm getting tired of that guy. I'm glad he's benched.
It didn't take very long.
But anyway, let's go on to this next game here. Again, working backwards as Seattle actually put themselves on the board. They just scored a touchdown, so it is now 17-15. So this is getting a tight game. Let's talk about the Rams for a second. They took a loss to the Green Bay Packers, and this is now the 3rd time that Matthew Stafford has thrown a pick 6. Odell Beckham Jr. He's hurt well, he was hurt in this game, but he like Baker, he still played. And I'm not saying that this loss was entirely on him, but at the same time, week 1, when the Cleveland Browns played the Kansas City Chiefs, there was a famous video that went out that Baker can't seem to throw the football. So I guess here's my question. If there's this whole issue that that Baker can't seem to throw the football, that he's a terrible quarterback because he couldn't throw it to Odell, why is Jarvis Landry not complaining?
Paycheck.
Now he gets cut after the trade deadline's over. He goes to the Rams, and they have not won a game since then. I'm gonna do a quick NFL NBA comparison. I think that Odell Beckham is the Odell Beckham Jr. is the Russell Westbrook of the NFL.
You can't compare NBA and NFL.
Well, in this case, yes, I can, because I think that Russell Westbrook is a good solo player. And what I mean by that is that Russell might have a good role players around, but I think he will do better if he has the possession, if he has more of a possession of the ball. The chemistry has not been great because they haven't been able to figure out, hey, do I hand it over to LeBron? Do I hand it over to Westbrook? The chemistry has not been great because Westbrook has not had the ball more. And I'm not saying that what I'm trying to say is that LeBron and Westbrook should not be on the same team. Now, if Westbrook goes to a team like Minnesota, where he's the good solo, or any other team that does not have a solid, does not have a superstar, then I think that he would do much better. As for Odell going back to the NFL, I think he would do really well if he's the guy that gets most of the targets. And that would only be the case if he goes to a team where their wide receivers aren't great. Which is why I kind of wanted him. As an analyst, I wouldn't mind him going to the Raiders if the Raiders signed them.
No, he would get in trouble. His mouth would talk.
True. I agree with you on
He
that.
would be in a fight within 1 week because his mouth would do most of the talking in his hand. He would do more bad on the field than good. He would do the opposite of what he's supposed to do.
I can understand that, but okay, what about Jaguars? Urban Meyer, he probably would be gone by this year, but you bring in James Robinson out there in the backfield, but he's not a receiver. He doesn't get most of the catches. He just gets most of the runs.
So would you think? Do you think Odell would do good with a young quarterback or like an older quarterback?
It doesn't matter. I think he would do better on a team that doesn't have an all-star elite wide receiver. The Ravens has been another talk. But I didn't like the idea about him to the Packers. I didn't like about even though that's been talked about a lot.
He
I
would.
don't want him over here.
If he joined the Packers, he'd be doing the same thing he's doing now. Guess what? Sitting on a bench. That's what Odell is. He's a bench player, a bench warmer. Warm up your hands, Odell. You're done. Get out.
Von Miller went 4-4 and woke up 7-1. Guess how many games since that? And that's 0-3. Guess what? Number is 2-1.
I seen Suggs make that comment somewhere else, and I laughed.
I saw it as a meme earlier today. Anyway, next game after that is the 49ers and the Minnesota Vikings. A really, really good game. And guess what? Final score, Washington wins 17-15. And, anyway, 49ers, 49ers are a really great team if all their players are healthy.
The 49ers are a sleeper team.
They are.
You don't sleep on them.
They are one of actually I wouldn't say that because Seattle does not doing so hot, but they're one of so I'm gonna look this up right now. There is one. They're the only team. They're the only division where 3 teams have a winning record. Because it shows you how, I wouldn't say that talent, there's much talent in the NFC as there is in the AFC, because I think AFC has that by far. But I would say that on the flip side, I think that this playoff race, minus the Detroit Lions.
Who?
It's just so neck and neck. Okay, and then everybody else that, it's obvious about who's going to win the division.
Yeah.
That's my only take on that. Anything you have to say with 49ers Vikings?
Not really. I mean, it was a good game. I like I said, 49ers are a sleeper team. You don't sleep on them. They can come in there and win when needed. That's what they do. They're an okay team. I mean, they don't got great guys. They don't got a great team, but I wouldn't sleep on them going in. I wouldn't go in there like, oh, we're going to go in there. We're going to win,
Mm-hmm.
Like play them as you would any other team. Well, besides the Lions, because pretty sure you could have the special teams beat them.
So, up next is actually Broncos and Chargers. Broncos ended up winning that one 28-13. And Justin Herbert, ever since he started playing in the NFL, he has seemed to always struggle against Denver. He's played 3 games against us, and he is 1-2. They lost in a comeback win when Drew Lock was our starting quarterback, which to tell you how sad that this franchise was. But anyway, the Chargers lost in a comeback win last year. The second game, it was close. I think the Chargers ended up winning that game in a last-second field goal. Actually, shout out to Jake the the Snake Sports Talk Show, because I actually did a preview before us and Spotlight became Spotlight Sports Network. We had that partnership. I did a preview with the Snake Sports Talk Show covering Broncos Chargers. And now we go into this game. Justin Herbert, 28 for 44 for 303 yards. That's not bad, but he has 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions against this Broncos defense. And to be fair, the only team that has less points scored against the less than 100 points scored against, I'm sorry, the only one of 3 teams. Sorry, the only one of 2, because there's the Broncos are 3rd in points scored against. Is the Patriots and Bills. They're the only ones that have like less number of points scored against.
Yeah, and Suggs just brought up a great point too. The Broncos won, but with a bunch of injuries. Bridgewater, Calvin Anderson, Dalton Risner, tackle Garrett Bowles, and tackle Bobby Macy. That's a great point there, Suggs.
I think that, to tell you the truth, this game shows how sad this Chargers season is going to be, even though this is one of the only few divisions out there. This is the only division out there where the 4th seed has a winning record.
So do you think they should have stayed in San Diego?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think moving to LA, it's like, oh, great, we got another LA team. Wow.
And even though Bridgewater played, he played hurt. He played hurt in that game. Any other comments that you have to make before we move on to the next one?
No. I mean, both, it was an okay game. I mean, nothing like, wow, nothing stood out.
Next week we have the Chiefs, and that's not, that's I don't want to talk about that game. But next week, two other games I wanted to cover. And these 2 games might surprise people. And that's the Buccaneers and Colts. And Dolphins and Panthers.
Really?
Yes. Bucks Colts, because the Bucks, fun fact is that the Bucks have not, Tom Brady since 2012 has never lost to the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
So I kind of saw that coming. I saw this game coming. It was going to be a competitive, close game. And Tom Brady was going to end up kind of pulling it out at the end, or doing something that pulls it out at the end. And Leonard Fournette ends up getting a touchdown to put themselves up the win. And then the other game I wanted to talk about is Miami Dolphins and the Carolina Panthers. Do you realize that even though the Miami Dolphins have a losing record, they have the second tie? They're tied with the Kansas City Chiefs for the second longest win streak in the NFL.
Yeah, the Dolphins are the same way with the 49ers. You don't sleep on them. They'll win when they need to, and that's about it.
This Miami Dolphins team went from 1-7, and they won 4 straight. including today's game over Carolina Panthers, which honestly, I 100% saw that coming. I told everybody, I sent the text in Touchdown Crew. I put it in as a comment for everyone to see. Victor brought it up. He agreed with me, but there's still people out there that are like, hey, no. Cam Newton starting for Carolina Panthers, blah, 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 this, and this.
Yeah.
But look what happened.
Where's your starting quarterback now?
Points. He's benched. You know what I find funny?
What's that?
The same Carolina Panthers fans, and there's not just Carolina Panthers fans that are doing this. There's some people, other people outside of Carolina Panthers fans that are putting hype on Cam Newton after the Arizona Cardinals game.
Did you see my meme about Cam Newton when he came back?
Yes, I saw that. That was funny.
They're paying for Cam Newton's replacement. They're paying for his replacement. Now they're paying for Cam Newton. And now it's just like a chain reaction. You're paying for Cam Newton.
Where was all that energy? Where was all that hype after Cam Newton? People wanted Cam Newton gone. After the Panthers went 0-7 the last 7 games before he got traded to the Patriots.
I really want to find that meme guy with the fishing pole and just have the Panthers logo right there. You know the one I'm talking about, Nate, where the old guy has the fishing pole?
I'm sorry, I just got a text right now that says, your Seahawks are done, my man. I live in Seattle. Yes, okay, live in the Seattle area. I get that. But once again, I am not a Seahawks fan. I am not. I will never root for the team that destroyed us 48-8 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Any takes, since we didn't actually bring this up? I brought my take up, but I didn't give you the chance to bring up for yours. Any takes for the Bucs in the Colts game?
Is this for next week?
No, this week. This week when the.
I mean, I'm a little surprised the Colts kind of showed up. I was expecting I thought it was going to be more of a one-sided team. I mean, I didn't expect the Colts to come in there and actually be right next to them.
And John Suggs says the Patriots, for real, as a Pats fan, can't complain for loving the defense, but then flip side, name the team that sounds out as a good win. So one last thing that I have to say before we take a commercial break real quick. And I learned 2 embarrassing stats over the weekend. One is an embarrassing
stat. The Lions are still undefeated?
No, they aren't. They just lost to the Browns. Anyway, I learned 2 embarrassing stats about once towards the Pittsburgh Steelers, and if Pride, if you're out here, this is going to be addressed to you. The second one is addressed to every quarterback out there that is not the 4 that I'm about to bring up. For Pittsburgh Steelers, do you know that they're the only team in the NFL history to where their defense has allowed -7 yards
I did not know that.
In a game, but they still lost. Yes, I'm reaching when I say this because this is back in the 50s when they played the formerly known Washington Redskins. But this team, even though that they have 6 Super Bowl rings, I felt like they have a lot of curses as well.
The Steelers?
The Steelers, yes.
No. They have a horrible they have a quarterback that's done. Get him out of there.
Yes, that's true.
The team is not cursed. Their quarterback is cursed.
I say cursed because you realize that this same Pittsburgh Steelers team ended the Browns' losing streak that they had back in 2018, 2019. Week 1 of 2019, they lost to the Cleveland Browns. They tied the Cleveland Browns, but it should have been a loss. 21-21. And now they tied the only winless team in the NFL with the Detroit Lions. So even though that these are minor things, I feel like there's a lot of minor curses with this team.
Do you think it's the Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell curse?
No, because I think Antonio Brown wasn't Antonio Brown starting when they tied the Cleveland Browns, or was he with the Raiders then?
I don't.
Anyway, that's something to look up for later. But then here's the second stat that I found embarrassing. And shout out to Tua because he's the 4th quarterback to do this. There are only 4 quarterbacks in the NFL to throw for an 80% completion rating in 2 back-to-back games. Tua was the 4th one to do it when they beat the Jets 2 weeks ago, and then they would go out and beat the Carolina Panthers, completely demolished them. But the 3 other quarterbacks were Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Kyler Murray. Tom Brady doesn't have this stat. Aaron Rodgers does not have this stat. John Elway does not have this stat. Brett Favre, Dan Marino, all of these legendary greats. I think this shows to you how much the game has evolved over the time that NFL has started. Since the NFL started, back in like the 20s.
Yeah.
Now the last thing. Now we're going to go into commercial break. After commercial break is over, we're gonna go with week 13 picks. See what you have this week, and I will write them down so that way we can review these next week as it goes on.
All right.
Here's your commercial break.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports all plays. All sports all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports all plays. All sports all plays.
Oh, sorry, I was beating.
Yeah, you can go check out the YouTube side and subscribe, comment. We're trying to get those YouTube subscribers to go up. If you want to win a free T-shirt, just interact with us on YouTube. And whoever has the most comments by the end of the month wins that free T-shirt.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Now we go into week
13.
I want to say this first and foremost, because there's already a guy that's messaged me and told me that my Seahawks are not doing so great. So I want to clarify this. Being a guy that currently lives in the Washington area, but used to live in Dallas as well. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I am a fan of their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. With that being said, he's probably going to be the guy coaching for this Dallas Cowboys team because Mike McCarthy is out with COVID, and same with so many of the other players.
Well, the Cowboys player just got suspended today.
Yeah, one of the Cowboys players did get suspended. They have a lot of drama going on with this team. But the reality is they're facing a New Orleans Saints team where they don't have a starting quarterback. Let's just face it, Taysom Hill is getting the first team reps. Alvin Kamara is not playing in this game either. Michael Thomas, I think he just played his last game in a Saints uniform. So to be honest, I don't care about how many players or coaches or guys that, unless if big guys have got hit with COVID, like Dak Prescott and, guys on their offensive line, unless they have enough where there's 20, 30 guys that are on, the COVID reserve list, I am taking the Cowboys in this one. I don't even think it's going to be close. Kellen Moore is probably going to be the one guy coaching. Now, even though the scheme might change, I don't think the scheme is going to stay the same. I like Kellen Moore as a head coach way more than I like Mike McCarthy. I'm sorry. I like Kellen Moore as a coach way more, and it's not even close. Mike McCarthy, within the past couple of weeks, has just been giving me Jason Garrett vibes and it's just, I'm sorry. Cowboys win. I'm going to go 31-13. What about you?
I'm picking Saints. I despise the Cowboys. I can't root for them. I think, is it going to be close? Probably. I think it's going to be at least +7.
I'm sorry, I'm just sending out the text. I'm not a Cowboys or a Seahawks fan.
So you got Cowboys, I got Saints.
So I'm going to write that down real quick. Pencil.
I got +7. I don't know how much. What you?
So going into the next game right after that, you have the Colts and the Texans. I think that this is not even. There's no question about who's going to win that. And he says upsets, but that's not actually any of them on Texans. Colts is not one of those. Colts Texans. I have the Colts winning, and it's going to be by 30. It's not even going to be close. Give me 41-14 over the Texans. What about you?
I'd say at least +30. I don't. Texans. We'll be lucky if we see them get a field goal.
Oh, no, I think they're going to do more than that. I think they're going to get a couple touchdowns, but I still think it's going to be not even close game, as my pencil just broke. So, hold on 1 second. All right.
I just think, I don't know, Texans are done. They need lots of help. They need a miracle. They need a Christmas miracle.
All right. What about Vikings Lions?
I mean, that is that even a question, Nate? Like why are we even talking about this game on this show? Why? Why are we?
Here's why.
Can we ban the Lions from ASAP for like the rest of the year? Can we just ban their team?
So I think it's going to be obvious that both of us here have the Vikings, but I do want to make a different kind of prediction that I think will happen in this game. You don't realize, I think that out of every team that has gone up to this point with 0 wins in NFL history, I think that this has to be the best team, the best no-win team. This team's better than the Jets last year. I mean, better than, obviously, the 2008 Detroit Lions. I don't want to talk about that. Better than the Cleveland Browns. There have been games that they've lost that they shouldn't have lost. They've lost because of a 66-yard field goal by Justin Tucker in a last-second game. They lost last week off of the last-second field goal, and they lost the first game in Minnesota off the last-second field goal. So my prediction is that the situation is going to continue. I have the Vikings win this one, but they're going to win off of a last-second field goal.
Nate
17-14.
What?
Yes.
No. You're insane. The Vikings are at least taking 40.
Oh, not a chance. Okay. Next game is the New York Giants. They play the Miami Dolphins.
Definitely taking Dolphins. Giants are trash.
Ooh. Miami over Giants is an upset. Oh, that's not going to be an upset. I will say that. I think that even though this is another game where it's kind of obvious about where both of us are going, and that's being the Dolphins, I think that this game is going to be a better game than advertised. Jason Garrett's gone. And Freddie Kitchens is a better offensive coordinator than Jason Garrett. Miami Dolphins, they're on a 4-game winning streak. It's tied with the Kansas City Chiefs for the longest win streak in the NFL. I gotta go Dolphins here. I think they're going to continue that, but I'll go 24-21. Dolphins. All right, what about you?
24 plus. The Dolphins are going to win.
All right. I'm just writing this down real quick. Okay. So, next up, again, this is another game that's... I can probably say we all know where this is going to be going. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They play the Atlanta Falcons. This is a division game. Falcons come off of a win over Jacksonville. Bucks come off of a win against the Colts. I have nothing to say about this game other than Bucks win it. 24. I'm sorry. I flipped those numbers. 42 to I'll go 42-16.
So you think the Vikings game is going to be closer than this game?
Yeah. Have you seen their offensive line? Referring to the Falcons' offensive line.
I think the Buccaneers are winning at least 20 plus.
So we have a lot of similar picks, but we are definitely having a lot of disagreements on this.
Hey, but that's what makes a good show, right?
The only thing that is different is the Thursday night game. We have a different pick for that.
That's what makes a good show. If we both agreed, it would be a boring show, just saying.
We have different opinions, but the same pick. All right. The next game is the Philadelphia Eagles. They face the New York Jets.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Same way with the Lions. Who?
This is going to be a worse game than advertised, and I don't think this has been advertised. This is probably least of their priorities of, what to call it. Let's just face the reality. Nick Sirianni is not a good head coach.
I bet the refs win. That's who I'm picking to win the game is the refs.
Overtime, Eagles won it. But I'm going to give it 17-14. And John says, yes, the Jets win in this game.
I'm going to pick the Jets by 3. I think
another difference.
The Jets are going to get an early Christmas miracle, even though it doesn't matter, but we'll call it that.
All right, next up is the Cardinals and the Bears. 24 Cardinals, Bears 14.
It depends what week we see the Cardinals play. And same way with the Bears. It's the Cardinals can be good, so can the Bears. We both see that.
Yeah.
It's just how good are they going to play against each other? It's in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be colder for the Cardinals. Cardinals are not meant for the cold. They're meant for desert, heat, warm. I think that might play an effect on the Cardinals. Is it going to play a major effect? No, but it will play.
This is going to be a closer game than. You don't think it's going to be a blowout? You think it's going to be a close game?
It's going to be 21 to 14. It's going to be within range of one or by some points.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be rough.
So we both have Cardinals on that, but we both have a close game on that. So that's one thing that we actually have in common.
Here's Sug's comment real quick. Cards by 8 points. Will Bears kicker make a field goal?
Will Bears kicker make a field goal?
Well, we should be asking Mason Crosby that question.
The surprising thing is the one week I actually put him as my fantasy fantasy kicker. He did really well, except that every other week he hasn't.
Right.
So next game after this is the Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Who?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, actually. Chargers are not a bad team. I mean, okay, yes, they did just lose to us. But
if we see the Bengals go against how they play the Steelers, they're going to win.
I don't think so. I don't think they are.
You think the LA Chargers are going to get a win?
Because, I mean, okay, this is what I'm about to say might seem weird. If they beat Denver last week, no. But they do have that revenge mindset. Like, they don't want to go 2 back-to-back weeks with losses. So I think that the Chargers might come back and win this one. But if they beat us last week, then no, I wouldn't. I would have Bengals. So they're my upset pick of the week. Just consider it this way. Last week, I mean, you remember that Bengals-Jets game? The week before, the New England Patriots they were the only team in the NFL to put up 50 points. New England Patriots were. And they did that against the New York Jets. They come back. Different quarterback. Yes, I get that. They come back. And they faced a team where the Cincinnati Bengals put up 40 on the Baltimore Ravens. They come back and the Jets win. I think we're going to have the similar game. I think the Chargers are going to do the same thing that the Jets did a while back.
I'm picking the Bengals. Plus 14.
I'm going to go Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers 41, Bengals 39.
You think it's going to be high scoring?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out Sunday.
Next up is the Jaguars and the Rams. Yeah, nothing to say about that. Rams win, but it's going to be. They have not done well lately. That's just for sure. I think that offensively, the Rams are going to continue to not do well. But it's the Jaguars, so they're going to do enough to put a W.
Unless we get the Odell curse.
Or the Bills-Jags game. Okay.
Who are you picking?
I have the Rams, but I'm going to go 17-10.
I'm picking Jaguars by 20.
Whoa.
The Rams are cursed because of Odell. You can say this now. You can quote it. You can tell Freddie.
Whoa.
Odell's done. He's a curse to the LA.
Yeah, Freddie's probably gonna get on here and say what things like that because he's a New York Giants fan, and Odell used to be part of the New York Giants, so he might have a little bit of a favoritism, fan favorite towards him. Next game is the Washington and the Raiders. This is another upset. I have an upset in this game. Washington wins this game by 2. I think we're going to have a similar game to what we had in Washington, Seattle. Yeah, Raiders are coming off of a win over what they did against Dallas. But on the flip side, I think that with this game, the Dallas is the only team ever since John Gruden left, pretty much, that they took a W. So it's just one game, but that's because of the bad tradition that the Cowboys and Lions have.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a joke real quick. You know what the NFL should do? They should have a test. Cowboys haven't been doing well on Thanksgiving, so hasn't the Lions. Next season, they should have a Cowboys and Lions game to see who's going to perform worse. I'm kidding about that, but on the flip side, with this game, I have Washington barely coming out at the end with a W.
If we did ever see that, if that ever became a thing, right? There would be a snow delay, right? The game wouldn't happen because the weather would be like, yeah, no, I don't want to watch this. That's what would happen. It would snow.
All right. Oh, whoops.
All right.
I said Washington, but I wrote down Raiders. Whoops, I'm going to erase that. So I have Washington winning that one.
You said by 2, right? Plus 2?
Yeah, Washington by 2. Yeah, I'll probably go 16-14, something like that.
All right, I'll pick the Raiders. At least by 3. I don't think it's going to be an high-scoring game. It'll be within range.
Next up, you have the Ravens and Steelers. I think this is the first time we've seen this matchup really since, for this season, because the Steelers go out and they play the Ravens as their final game of the season. But, with this, I think, to tell you the truth, I have the Ravens winning this one. Minimum by 10.
It's gonna be a hard game. Both of them are gonna be out there for blood.
This game, I think, is going to be similar, but in the opposite direction of how Steelers-Ravens was for the first game last year, when the Steelers won 28-14, where it really wasn't the Ravens that won the game. I mean, it really wasn't the Steelers that won the game, but it was the Steelers' defense.
So do you think Lamar's going to run against the Steelers, or do you think he's going to pass more? Because
run.
You think he's going to keep running the game how he's been doing?
Because of last week, he threw 4 interceptions.
I mean, that's last week. It's a new week.
I know, but it still shows what they have to, what the Ravens have, what Lamar has to work on.
Yeah. I think the Steelers are going to win by 7.
I have Ravens 28-14, but this exactly this game is going to remind me of how Steelers Ravens went last year, game 1, but in the opposite route. So Ravens.
I'm pretty sure I picked every team.
So next up is the 49ers and the Seahawks. Yeah, this isn't. I don't think this is.
Well, you can't vote for Seahawks.
I
so.
froze for a second because I was trying to think of a way that the Seahawks might pull off with a win. This might be my hater bias, but I can't. Seattle is going to lose this game. There's 34-17.
Yeah, I think 49ers are going to win. I think, like I said earlier, you don't sleep on the 49ers. I think they're going to win at least by 21.
It kills me to talk about what's next game's going on.
The Broncos versus the Chiefs.
Broncos and the Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. Okay, yes, we just won last week to give our 6th win of the year, and we officially have more wins this year than we have last year.
That should be an award.
Yes, that's true. That should be an award. But on the flip side, Chiefs defense has been struggling, except in the Cowboys game for some whatever reason.
Luck.
Yes, 100% luck. And it also was true against the Raiders. I think really this is going to be a test to see if they finally, this game is going to be the test to see if they finally have something going. I really don't think either the Chiefs or the Broncos will score more than 20 points in this game. Our offense sucks. But both the Chiefs and the Broncos have one of the, well, Chiefs in the past couple of weeks, not so much this entire season. But both the Chiefs and the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
Give me the Chiefs to win this, sadly. I'm going to go 19-13.
I think the Broncos are going to win 24.
Whoa.
Chiefs 17.
This is coming. So, just wanted to, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are watching this show right now, the person that is not the Broncos fan said that the Broncos are going to end the streak that they have not beaten the Chiefs since Game 1 of 2015, the year that they won the Super Bowl. And the Broncos fan says
who's going against them?
Continue.
Freddie, are you out there? Are you hearing this?
Anyway,
All right.
Final game is the Monday Night Football game, and that's the Bills and the Patriots. This is going to be the highest scoring game out of the whole week. I think the Bills are going to get the W, but the Patriots are going to score 42 points. Bills win 45-42.
I'm picking the Bills. I cannot stand the Patriots. I cannot stand the Belichick. Nope. Same way with the Cowboys. I cannot pick them. I don't care who they. Even if they win it. Okay, if the Cowboys win against the Lions, I'd pick the Lions.
There are two teams in the NFL that I cannot stand. And of some whatever reason, either one of those two teams are in the AFC. The Seattle Seahawks and the New Orleans Saints. I cannot stand either one of those two teams. For some whatever reason, even if the Chiefs beating one of those two teams hurts our chances of making Denver's chances of making the playoffs, I would still root for the teams. That shows you how much I will not root for the Seahawks or the Saints. That being said, any final thoughts before I give this a close?
No. Not really. Just it's going to be interesting.
And I don't have any final thoughts before I give this a close either. So this has been Nate the Great. And, actually, I do have one other thing. Next week, like I said in Sports Status on Saturday, I will be getting a new studio by the time this Saturday rolls around. And for those of you that missed last Saturday's episode, or watched last Saturday's episode for that matter, this Saturday will be the first week that I will be covering basketball, doing live reactions. This time, it will be for college men's basketball. Stanford, who is one of the teams that are currently still undefeated, they go off and play UNLV. I will be covering the second half to that game. As for now, it's been Nate the Great and Dell signing out. We'll see you next week.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays, they're the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, they working your faces.